Hello everyone, Nala15 here. I'm going to show you how I did Betrothed, page 42, from sketch to finish. First, after I scan my picture, I put it in Photoshop and make a layer for color, a layer for underbellies and stuff, a layer for noses and mouths, a layer for manes and tails, a layer for eyes, and a layer for ink. And this is after I've set up all my gutters and dividers for the comic itself. Then I just start to ink. Usually I start with the first panel that isn't a background and just work on the first character's eyes. In this case it's baby Mufasa. So this is in real time now, and I'm just going around the eye and working my way around doing the pupils, and this is sped up 8 times, and I've already done the first panel but it has characters in it at this point, and now I'm just working around the rest of the characters in panel number 3, starting with the eyes and eyebrows, and making sure that I get all my pencil lines sketched and make any modifications that I think are necessary at this point. So this is the page after it's all inked and it has the gutters. This is after I've added the eyes. This is the noses and mouths layer, the underbelly layer and toes, manes and tails, and then finally here it is fully colored in flats. Okay, next I'm going to do some shading. Now usually I'll shade all the characters one at a time with their own shading color, but in this case they're taking the scene is taking place in a cave, so I'm just going to shade a couple of the characters the way I normally do. So I'll get Uru's shading color and then get a good soft brush, go down to Uru and just start shading her where the light isn't going to be touching her. So just go around her jawline, under her chin, legs, things like that. And now I'm going to do a just a simple technique to shade the manes and tails with the burn tool. It's just really fast and easy and saves me some time, and it looks good too. So now that that's done, I'm going to make a new layer and call it dark and start the shading for the cave inside. Just do it underneath the eye layer so that their eyes will look like they're glowing in the dark. So then once I get that done, I need to cut out a few things that don't need to be in the cave, like this Uru for example. So I'm just going to erase everything that doesn't need to be there and go with the brush and the magic wand tool to get rid of it. So here's what it ends up looking like after I've been working on it for a while. Hadi is in the cave there, so he's going to be mostly shaded. And save, very important, Control S all the time. And here there's a lot of things here that I don't want shaded, so I'm going to make sure that I turn off my sketch layer, make sure that my wand tool is set to use all layers in selection, then just click delete and everything is erased that I don't want. So then I just go back with the regular eraser and add a few lighting effects this way by erasing bits of the dark layer. When that's finished, I'm going to start putting in the background. So I'm going to erase that dark part there because obviously the cave is not inside the cave. I'm going to pick a rock color from another page of Betrothed and then just start painting Pride Rock. But first I need to make a background layer folder. It helps keep things organized. I call it BG, and I call a sky layer Sky, we'll get to that later, and I call the rock layer Rock. This is sped up 2 times actual time. So I'm going to paint Pride Rock this way, and then I'm going to select in the middle, and this is a cool trick I learned. You go to select, go down to modify, expand by 2 pixels, click OK, fill bucket twice, and there it's completely filled, and you didn't have to do a thing to get rid of that annoying little line that happens when you use the select and fill bucket most times. So then after I'm done with that, and this is what it looks like after I've filled in all the rocks. So then I change the opacity so I can see my sketch layer behind it, and I turn it on again, and then I just use the dodge and burn tool to shade the rocks. But first I found out that I need to actually have a blank spot there because Uru is walking away and down Pride Rock. So here I am shading the rocks with the burn tool, just making the floor darker than the walls to give a little bit of difference there. This is still a low opacity, so I can see my sketch layer behind the rocks, so I know what I'm doing. So just shading away, dark part first, and now I'm going to move the opacity back up so I can see what it looks like. It looks good. Keep shading, moving it a bit. This is actual speed. I do this pretty quickly. Thank you, burn and dodge tool. Change my burn thing there, and okay, now I'm going to use the dodge tool and brighten things up a little bit. And now I'm going to Pride Rock to shade that part as well. This is shown 4 times actual speed. Oh man, I wish I could do it that fast in real life. Okay, now we're going to do the sky. Now, I know a couple shortcuts for this, but I'm going to add my own flair to it as well. First thing I'm going to do to make the sky, and I'm going to make it raining, so I'm going to pick a couple of shades of blue. A light kind of teal blue and then a dark blue just for experimenting. Now I'm going to go to filter and render clouds, and that's kind of a funny bright color, so I'm going to mess with the saturation and hue a little bit until I find one I like, and that one looks pretty good. So I'm going to go with that, lighten it up a bit, then copy it and layer it anywhere else that there's sky, so that I don't have to go through the hue process again. And here I'm just going to add my own clouds on the sky layer, just using the burn and dodge tools to give a little extra texture and to make it not look so rendered, you know, cheating in Photoshop. You want to make sure you cover your tracks. So just add a little depth here with the dodge and burn tool for some clouds, and I'll do these on the other sky sections as well, but you're just going to see me do the process of this part. Now I'm going to do some rain. I learned a really cool technique a little while back. So go to filter and sketch, graphic pen. Make sure your colors are on black and white. Mess with the settings till you get one that looks good. Push OK, and then you're going to have these streaks of white. So don't panic, move it. I'm going to move it up to where it needs to be and go to screen. And now this is the start of some rain, but we can make it look a little more convincing. So I'm going to use a big soft eraser at a medium opacity and just kind of get some, make it look more natural. I'm happy with it now, so I'm going to blur it, motion blur actually. Mess with the settings until I get one I like, get the angle right, and I'm happy with that, so I'll just click OK. And then I'll go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and just blur the rain a little bit so it looks even more convincing than it already does. And I'm happy with that, so I'll click OK. And Uru on the outside of the cave looked like she needed some blue shading added because it looked kind of weird, so I just did that. I added some blue and put it on the darken setting for the layer. So that's done, and I added rain to the other sides of other sections of the sky as well. And now I'm going to add some water drops coming off of the cave. And I just thought this would be a cool effect. I've never really done it before, so it was an experiment as well. So a lot of smudge and paintbrush for that. And again, some smudge and paintbrush. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. And there's that puddle again. I'm going to use the smudge tool and make it look wet. Add some drops and some splashes, and just make it look as wet and natural as possible. So here's the page, fully colored, ready to go, ready for our talk balloons and captions. So I'm going to select all of this page, open a page of Betrothed in the JPEG format that I've already uploaded. Then copy that merged of the new page, paste it on the old page, and then resize it. And this just helps me ensure that all my pages are the same size, nothing else really special about it. Then I saved it as a new file, and now I'm going to add a layer for the tails of my talk balloons and a layer for the talk balloons and captions themselves. So then after I've typed everything up, from my other sketch page, I'm going to add the talk balloons and captions. So basically, just use the marquee tools, combination of the square marquee tool and the circle marquee tool. And then just put them behind the letters and then add the tails, and you're good to go. And there's the finished page of Betrothed. Thanks for watching.